As people are experiencing death, war, famine, plague, and the collapse of their worldview, they are also deciding it is better to impose your will upon this world, rather than embed yourself within it. And this leads to the rise of commercialism. People need to travel long distances, to go where your commodity is scarce, so they are shipping their commodities across great distances. But the problem with ships is that they can sink. If a ship sinks, it can wipe out your entire livelihood. The solution to this was to create a corporation, a body of people who will share risk and divide profit. Corporations need things like banks and insurance. Contracts enforced by the state become very important. And all of this is happening outside of the church. Around the 14th century, Arabic numbers begin to replace the cumbersome Roman numerals. With Arabic numerals, there is suddenly a huge increase in our computational powers. To manage all this new, abstract finance, the importance of math comes to the forefront. People realize that if you can get a ship to its destination faster without it sinking, there is a lot more money to be made. To improve navigation, we begin to pay attention to the stars. We are using this new math to keep better track of the heavens. With our improved observation of the stars, people begin to notice things that don't make sense. Things like Mars going into retrograde. Why is Mars doing something that seems so chaotic? Copernicus comes along and tells us how to solve problems like this. Pay close attention to the wording he uses. Copernicus says the math is better if you put the sun at the center. What he is saying is don't pay attention to your experience, pay attention to the math. This is a momentous change. We all see the sun orbit around the earth every single day of our lives. Our experience is telling us that we are at the center of the universe. But it is an illusion. We are all mistaken. If I can be wrong about something that I can clearly observe every day of my life, how can I ever trust my senses again? In this old Aristotelian model, we all fit in and belong with the universe. But we have just been given proof that the structure of our experience has nothing to do with the structure of reality. Galileo expands on this Copernican idea, and he tells us that mathematics is the language of the universe, and that is how the mind can reconnect itself to the world. Galileo integrates this new math into what we now know as the scientific method, and he begins to use experiments. Using this new experimental method, Galileo discovers inertial motion. In this old worldview, things were acting on purpose because of this internal drive to better themselves. Everything was acting intentionally and everything was in its proper place. Galileo discovers that things don't act on purpose to make things more actual and more beautiful. Things act because they smash into each other mindlessly. But each of us still feels that we are autonomous beings. We have our will and we act on purpose, but nothing else does. Instead of acting in collaboration with the universe, we are now an isolated will that doesn't belong. And what is our will compared to all this dead matter? The narrative unfolding of a universe trying to come to completion is now dead because nothing acts on purpose and there is no story to things. A universe trying to overcome its inner conflict is gone, and the sense of a mutual fitting and belonging to the world around us has been shattered. What is left? Math and an isolated will trying to impose order on whatever it can. And even that isn't real because your experience is faulty and cannot be trusted. Math is the language of the universe. What about love and beauty? What about the sweetness of an orange? Galileo has an answer to this. He divides the world into primary and secondary properties. What is primary is things we can do math on, like shape and weight. What's secondary are non-mathematical properties like beauty, color, and meaning. All the stuff we care about is an afterthought. The world does not possess these things. That is what the mind willfully imposes on reality. When you feel connected to things for their beauty, love, or meaning, that is all a mistake. The meaning that was captured in these old worldviews are being withdrawn, and we are now trapped in a mind that cannot connect to the world.